everybody. Hey. Oh, Jesus. Hell of an intro.
Here he is.
Yeah,
All right. Thank God. Thank God.
Well, I've been having problems with this thing. I'm like, oh, great. All right.
I was
Hi,
like, man,
Cliff.
if he no shows the show he picked, that's iconic almost.
Oh,
But we're here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wrestling Through the Years podcast. I know you can't see me and Doug because we have fat heads, but
Here, let me change the.
But we're here. Thank God. We're here to talk Bad Blood.
How come you get the bigger screen?
Fuck it. I can see us both, so that's all I care about.
Works for me.
We're here to talk about the first ever Bad Blood. This was Clinton's idea. Let's welcome everybody to the show. Because Bad Blood's coming up soon. So Clinton's like, hey, let's do the first one. And that was a great idea. And now we're here talking about it. I'm Dizzle. I'm here with the Dutch Meister, Big Dutchy. Clinton's here. And what's up, Clinton?
yeah.
Okay, we'll get it. What's up, Eric?
What's up?
And we're here to talk Bad Blood 97 in your house. This is going to be a fun one. It's the first ever Bad Blood. A lot of people know this for the introduction of Kane, but there's a couple other things.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Right down my gum.
You know you're doing a show, right?
Are you talking to us, Clinton?
No, that's stuff in the background. Miles yelling at me and stuff like that.
Oh, it's all right. All right. What up, Doc? You picked Bad Blood in your house. I think that was a great idea because Bad Blood's coming up soon. So this was your idea. Tell us your thoughts on this pay-per-view and what made you really want to pick this, Clinton.
Okay, so tell you the truth, this was my very first pay-per-view that got me in when I started watching wrestling. Second, Ground Zero was the first, and so I was very interested in the whole Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. Ever since SummerSlam in '97, when Michaels cost Undertaker the title, they had their brawl out at Ground Zero in your house, and then the fallout was, was the steel cage, because we all know in like '97 it was just a blue steel cages, but WCW had a real steel cage that I wanted WWE to have. So this is actually the first time they actually had like a real steel cage surrounding a ring.
Yeah.
On a high-pitched rivalry of the Taker and Shawn Michaels, I think was beautiful. And that was the main thing. DX was just getting started, so
yeah. I mean, I agree on those points. I will say that's the only good thing to say about the show. I was not a huge fan of the undercard, but this, and we'll talk about it. But the main event is iconic. It's a spectacle. This is, if you have a top 100 matches that somebody should watch, this should definitely be on that list. It's an iconic. It's the first Hell in a Cell. It's like Clintus was saying. This match is a big deal for a multitude of reasons in the history of wrestling. And they weren't booming. Yeah, they weren't winning in the ratings. But this show did mean a lot.
Well, yeah, and also too the motivation for this kind of was based on 1983's Last Battle of Atlanta. That cage.
Yes.
With Wildfire Tommy Rich and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer.
Well, wasn't the Thunder Cage kind of like that or no?
The Thunder Cage was kind of blue.
Yeah.
So,
but was it on the outside of the ring or was it just a regular cage?
No, yeah, like you could brawl on the outside of the ring.
Yeah, so the Thunder Cage was kind of a Hell in a Cell.
It was, but Shawn Michaels wanted to give more credit to Georgia Championship Wrestling than WCW.
It makes sense.
Even though they're technically the same thing.
Well, I mean, they did. I mean, the Hell in a Cell is a lot more of an attraction than the Thunder Cage. Everyone, let's be honest. Even though Hogan and Flair in the Thunder Cage is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I that Hell in a Cell is a big deal, and that's why this pay-per-view is such a big deal. And we will get into that. Before we do that, we are going to do our segment like we do before we start the main topic every episode, and we'll get into our worker of the week. We all love wrestling, and we do watch currently. I mean, we all get busy and we have jobs and lives too, so we don't get to watch everything a lot of the time, or we only see clips or whatever. But we try to bring our worker of the week, our best guy. It can be a manager, even though the worker is the name. It can be just someone that really stood out in pro wrestling this week. I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna say that. Who the fuck was that? Doug's gonna start.
Trick Williams, the new NXT champion. He finally beat the toy vlog.
Yes.
Like they called Ethan Page like a great heel champion. He was a bum. Like Trick Williams needs to be the one to lead the company.
He was a great heel champion for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He hasn't been champion that long. And he lost to Trick before, didn't he?
Yeah, he lost to Trick before, and he won the title after pinning somebody after Trick hit him with his trick shot.
Yeah.
So like it was underwhelming. So I'm glad that Trick got the belt back.
Big Trick guy, are you?
Yeah.
Whoop that Trick. I like that too. I think he's going to be a star when he's on the main roster.
Yeah. But they're not ready for him to be on the main roster yet because they feel like he's got to be more established.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. Eric, who's your worker of the week?
Ricochet. I'm going to give him his flowers. I think he had a good match with Ospreay. Even though it was
Samantha Irvin jealous.
Even though it was interrupted, but I thought him and Ospreay put on a good show.
It was a fucking gymnastics routine, dude. I tried to watch that match, and it was okay. I like Will Ospreay. I don't know about he soured me with the whole betting on yourself thing because I didn't think it was really betting on yourself.
Yeah.
I think betting yourself's giving yourself to make a chance to make the most money and be the biggest star. Maybe you can make the most money in AEW. So I don't want to, because Tony's got big pockets. Yeah. But to be the biggest star possible and to me, betting on yourself isn't like leaving your girlfriend or your fiance or whatever at one job to go fucking fly around with your friends. I don't know, but I respect his decision. I mean, clearly, I'm not talking like I do, but I get he's got to do what he's got to do for him. And at the end of the day, people got to do what makes them happy. I didn't love the match was okay. You really liked it?
It was like the only match I watched this week, so.
All right, I respect the honesty on that one.
You had to watch one match this week so we can pick a worker of the week.
I watched the gymnastics.
Oh.
All right.
I prefer watching new gymnastics.
I was too busy watching baseball, so.
Men?
No.
All right. Glenneth, who's your worker of the week?
I'm going to give it to Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Last monster standing.
It was epic.
Yes, it was.
I mean, he tore his cock, but
he did tear his cock.
And that's what makes it even more, I think. The fact that he still put on a great match with it because he was wrestling with it throughout the whole match.
Yeah. And that reminds me because my worker of the week was Bronson Reed. I feel bad I forgot about him, but Bronson Reed because I like Braun. That was fun, mayhem, an amazing match. That was a really good time. And Seth Rollins coming back was awesome. That monster match was amazing. But Braun Strowman, I love him. I already loved him. But I really think that kind of made Bronson a star. Even though he lost, he took the job. I think Bronson is elevated coming out of that program.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can do that while still losing is pretty cool. Because now he's got a fucking built-in thing with Seth Rollins for a couple months. And that's pretty sick. Now you get to work with one of the top guys. So, yeah, I agree with you, Clint. It's a great match.
Isn't Bad Blood tomorrow?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
6
Yeah.
o'clock.
And that's why we've all given our worker of the week. That's why we're talking about Bad Blood in Your House, 97. The Kiel Center, 21,000 in attendance, buy rate 240 grand. And you want to get right into it, Doc?
Yeah.
The first match, we got the Nation of Domination going against the Legion of Dope.
Now, as soon as the show went on the air, Vince McMahon did kind of reiterate,
Yeah.
like
Get
he
into
did
that.
on the free for all, that Brian Pillman had passed away earlier in the day. Brian Pillman was supposed to have a match with Dude Love, and if Dude Love beat Brian Pillman, then Brian Pillman was going to have to wrestle Goldust right after. Obviously, it didn't happen. Now, for anybody that really doesn't know the story of what happened, according to Jim Cornette, it got to be about like 5 o'clock
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah.
And 2 people hadn't arrived at the building yet, and that's Bret Hart and Brian Pillman, because Bret was always late. So Bret gets to the building, and they're like, "Have you seen Brian?" And he's like, "No." And Brian had wrestled in Bloomington, Minnesota, the night before. So Jim Cornette, they got the hotel information. Jim Cornette called the hotel or the motel and said, "Hey, we're looking for one of our wrestlers. Name's Brian Pillman. He had a reservation there last night because he wrestled. We're wondering, has he checked out yet? When did he check out? If he already did, like, we just need the information." So the girl at the desk says, "Hold on one second," puts the cop on the phone, and the cop goes, "Hello," and Cornette's like, "Well, who's this?" He goes, "This is, the Bloomington, Minnesota Police Department. Sir, Mr. Pillman passed away. We found him dead in his hotel room earlier today. So, and we believe he passed away last night." And what? So then Cornette is saying, it says to one of the production people, he's like, go get Bruce, go get Pritchard. And they're like, he's in a meeting. And they're like, go get him now. So that Bruce goes into the room and he's bitching at Cornette. He's like, "You pulled me out of a fucking meeting. What the hell what's wrong?" And Cornette goes, "Pillman's dead."
Yeah.
And Bruce is just like, "What?" So like they really didn't know. They're like, "Holy shit." Because this is like the first like major like wrestling death.
Yeah, especially the day of.
Yeah. So like the whole thing where he, him passing away, because he was an active wrestler.
Yeah, he was on the card.
Yeah.
He was on the card in a big position. He was one of the marquee matches of the card.
Yeah. So like it was just like, holy shit.
Instead, we got midgets.
Yeah.
Which, well, little people. Sorry about that.
The mini.
But the mini wrestler, they were calling a midget wrestling on the wrestling. That's why I fucked that up. But the little people wrestlers, Max Mini was phenomenal. We'll get into that. I don't want to take it from Brian Pillman's death to the mini guys, but that was the replacement.
Yeah. Which wasn't a bad replacement. The match was actually, like, to be honest with you, it was better than half the matches on the card.
Yeah, it was arguably the third best match on the card.
So
maybe the second.
But like the whole thing with Pillman, and then because like and they did the interview with Melanie Pillman the next night on Raw, and the whole thing.
Was Terry still in his possession or no?
He would have been giving her up that night. Because what would have happened, so it was supposed to be Dude Love was going to wrestle Brian Pillman. If he beat Pillman, it was going to be Goldust and Pillman. And if Goldust won, he would get Marlena back. If not, then Pillman would have her for like another 30 days or something. So it was so like convoluted and all that, but it was she was she was technically still in his possession.
Yeah, that was going to be one of the marquee matches.
Yeah.
And it didn't take place. And R.I.P. Brian Pillman, one of the greatest talents the business ever seen.
Yeah, and I don't want to disparage because his widow Melanie, unfortunately, she passed away about a year ago.
R.I.P.
But like Yeah, it was just it was sad, and then
It's so
like
sad.
Vince bringing it up a couple times. Like the first time when Vince brought it up,
Yeah.
JR did whatever he could to change the subject because JR didn't want to talk about it because JR and Pillman go back years.
Yeah.
He helped bring Brian Pillman into WCW back in 1989.
And then flash forward fucking 2 years later, and the guy's got to announce another friend of his that is dead in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, he had to be the one to announce. You know,
and he had 10 seconds to do that.
Yeah.
He didn't know that his condition. They said Kevin Dunn said, JR, we need to update you on Owen's condition. JR said, I don't know what his condition is. And when he said you need to update the people, and he's like, I don't know what the condition is. What's his condition? And he's like, JR, he's dead. And then he's like 10, 9, right after he said he's dead. So then fucking JR has 10 seconds to process it, and then he has to tell the people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I think King already knew because King, from what I've heard, King like whispered to people like, oh, he's dead. And he was at the booth with JR. So
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe he had an idea.
Well, because King went into the ring.
Yeah.
And like I guess when he got back to the back room, like he was telling people, it was like there's no way he's alive.
Yeah. R.I.P. to him as well. But yeah, it's sad. It's always sad when someone goes, and especially, well, not especially because it's sad regardless. It doesn't matter career-wise. But he was really coming into his own, and he was going to be one of the leaders of the Attitude Era. He was going to that unhinged Brian Pillman was one of the best Brian Pillmans. I like the white meat babyface stuff in WCW was pretty fun, and I liked him with Ricky Steamboat. Wasn't he with him or no?
It was him and Austin.
Oh, him and Austin. No, not his partners wrestling.
Oh, they had a couple of singles matches.
But him and the Hollywood Blondes was a great heel gimmick, but scumbag like fucking Brian Pillman of 97, like the fucking unhinged, like he was going to be one of the main figures, at least in my eyes.
Yeah.
When you talk about DX Stone Cold, Brian Pillman was probably going to be right up there with him. And the fact that got cut short too sucks. And it's just sad. It's sad whenever a human being goes. And I know he had his problems, but still, it's sad as hell because he was a tremendous talent. From what I've heard, a great guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vince brings it up a few times, and he gets sadder and sadder as he brings it up.
Yeah, because he really didn't know what to do. But see, like the thing is that like this happening, like during the day. Like it's fine that they kind of continued the show,
yeah,
because it didn't happen like in the ring.
Yeah,
obviously we all have our thoughts as to whether or not he should have continued the show when Owen passed. But
yeah, we talked about that. Clint, did you see the Vince doc at all?
I saw the first episode.
What did you think?
The first episode was all right. I mean, I gotta find time to get to the rest of them, but I didn't get a chance to finish the whole thing.
I gotcha. It gets really in depth and pretty like as for us as like wrestling fans that know the history, like the Montreal Screwjob episode. You know everything about the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah,
you both do. We all do.
And that's what a lot of people say. It's like all this is a bunch of reprieve because you know everything about.
Yeah, it was cool to get Vince's take on a few things, but
it would have been cool if he would have been telling the truth.
Yeah, he didn't take any accountability for anything, which I mean is on brand, but it still sucked because he didn't fucking Owen. It wasn't his fault at all. It was all the harness company. Fucking Benoit didn't have CTE. CTE isn't even fucking real. He even said that Undertaker did not have CTE when Undertaker said he had CTE when he lost the streak with Brock Lesnar. Even though you can see in the footage he gets dumped on his head and you see his eyes afterwards. Vince says that he was so traumatized from doing the job that he's so upset that he lost. that he lost his fake wrestling match. And I get it. It's legit, and the streak probably meant a lot to him. But he was concussed. You can see it in his eyes. He's fucking wobbling and shit. He's concussed. He's not traumatized. He's traumatized because he's fucking concussed. And Vince is like, no. And then Stone Cold, which is insane. Stone Cold saying that he's not a CTE guy. And I love Stone Cold. And I mean, everyone.
Well, he's got shitty opinions. I mean, he still needs to be put on trial for the death of Roddy Piper.
Well, I wouldn't. Let's not get too controversial here. I know.
The death of Roddy Piper.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there was some stuff they had a beef because back in 2015, Roddy Piper had Will Sasso on his podcast, and Will Sasso did his Stone Cold impression, and Austin got all butthurt, and upset and threatened to sue Podcast One if they didn't remove the episode, and essentially kick Piper off Podcast One, unless Piper pulled the episode and didn't or whatever and apologize. And Piper's like, he's done a Stone Cold impression on WWE TV.
Yeah,
like this is stupid. So Piper went to SoundCloud instead. But then Podcast One says you cannot podcast anywhere. You're under contract with us, but you're not coming back until until you either take the episode down or you apologize. Like that's what it is. And then Austin went to Vince and bitched. So Vince relieved Roddy of his Legends contract. Then all of a sudden, just a few weeks later, Roddy died. And they gave him a 10-bell salute and all that, but fucking Dusty, when he passed away, they did like 5 specials on him. Fucking like the night that they did the tribute for Roddy, Austin did that shitty Broken Skull session with Queen of the Sex Tape Paige. And it's just, but yeah, so no, I blame Stone Cold Steve Austin for the death of Roddy Piper.
Well, there's a hot take. I love his Instagram with his cats, though. The cats are adorable.
Well, he's a pussy, so he should be taking pictures with pussies.
Crazy. You loved that man.
Except for when it comes to what he did to Roddy. He's gonna have to, Piper should push the button to send him to hell when he passes. He can join Vince.
But the whole CT, the fact that he's like, yeah, CT ain't real. I don't believe in it. You could see it under a microscope, dude. It's a real disease. There's people look at the fighters in the MMA that are have a conversation with Matt Hughes. Tell him CT isn't real. Fucking have a conversation with fucking Benoit. Fucking quarterbacks, all sorts of people that are fucking brain damage and their life has changed forever. And Vince just saying, "Oh, it's all a work." That he didn't really It's like, come on, man. CT is real. You wouldn't be doing chair shots in the head anymore. You would still be doing them if you really didn't think that. So, but yeah, that was annoying. But let's Bad Blood 97. Let's celebrate wrestling instead of talking shit. Because Stone Cold, he actually shows up on the show later on. But let's get into the card. The Nation of Domination versus the Legion of Doom.
Supposed to be a 6-man tag, but Ken Shamrock couldn't get cleared because he had internal injuries. They were going to use Ahmed Johnson as a replacement partner, but he had a splinter in his palm. Couldn't get cleared. Fucking pussy. He's a bigger pussy than Austin.
Oh God.
So,
well, there goes Stone Cold. Stone Cold and Triple H. They don't have much sway.
Yeah.
They're never
I didn't say anything bad about Triple H yet.
Not on this episode.
Yeah.
Well, you've always given him his respect to Booker and said how much you appreciate his shit. Well, Clint is gone. I guess he's a Stone Cold fan. But Triple H, you've just fucking accused him of some nefarious doings with Shawn in the bedroom. But I think it's mostly a joke. I think you're in Hunter's good graces. But yeah, I don't blame your opinion. I don't know too much about that situation besides what you've told me. So, but I believe you. So, I do. You're my brother. I don't care if you're an idiot. But Bad Blood '97.
All right, so yeah, the handicap match. It was an okay match.
No, it wasn't. It was for an opener. I thought like D'Lo, and The Rock and Animal and Hawk are 5 people that would be in my Hall of Fame if I started one.
Yeah.
This is 5 fucking The Godfather. He's amazing. They're all great. But fucking you got a Green Rock, and like he was coming into his own, but he's still pretty green. Everybody's gassed within 3 fucking minutes. Everyone looks completely exhausted. Fucking the finish with Farouk was garbage. You do not drop a doomsday device. If you have him, you hit the finish first and then fuck Farouk up. You don't fucking drop the right. Like, oh, okay, here you go. I'm gonna put you down, pal. And then fucking like just go talk to Farouk. He doesn't even hit him. He just goes and has a conversation, and then he gets fucked up, and then and poor Hawk's fucking sitting there on the fucking apron, like, dude. And Hawk gets fucked over. And that was a terrible decision. Animal was a terrible decision maker in that moment.
Yeah,
because he left his partner strangling, and he deserved to lose. You did it. You had him in the doomsday. You hit the doomsday. Do you agree, Clint?
I agree. I totally agree. That was the worst opener, and yes, it was. Like when I first put it on, I was like, "Why did I pick this show?" The main event. That's why.
100%.
Well, at least he knows.
Well, it's the truth. The main event's a spectacle, and when we talk about it, like that's a 10-star match. That's a 5-star match. That is a epic match. This was not epic. This was kind of butt cheeks. Like I said, I love all 5 guys. I really do. And I even love Farouk with him showing up. But the way it was the way it was put together, it had no heat. This, you can really feel like I was talking to Eric a little bit before the show. This show really encapsulates the saying that people say about WCW had a way better undercard, but their main events always fell flat. And WWE always had a pretty shit mid card and undercard before the Attitude Era. But they always had a great main event. Yeah. And this is like a pretty good showing of that.
Yep.
Because the undercard here, there are like, I love the flag match too. Even though poor Vader, they had his ass out there for like a half hour.
Oh my God. Like, I can't wait till we get to that. Because that poor bastard. Like, fucking, because with him, because also, like I was telling you earlier, they had him do the same fucking thing at Survivor Series. He worked almost the entire match there.
Yeah.
When he would make the tag to his partners would be in for 30 seconds and then get eliminated.
They were really testing his endurance.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match, it fell flat for me because I have too much respect for all of those guys to really like this performance. And it's not like I don't want to say it's bad on them, but it just had no heat too. The crowd didn't care. I didn't care.
No chemistry.
It didn't really seem like they cared. So to me, this is, if we're scaling it out of 10 here, I would give this probably just a 2.
I mean, I would probably say a 4.
I'd give it a 1.
And I would give it a 1 as well.
All right, well, I'm giving these guys a little more credit than I want to, but I'm still staying 4.
Stand tall.
Yeah.
Now, what comes next, which replaced the Pillman match, as we said, but I think this is like one of the better matches on the card, honestly.
Yeah.
My boy Max Mini, which I've always loved Max Mini since you had the Royal Rumble DVDs.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Max Mini Royal Rumble 98, and the little bastard was so dope. And Max Mini and Nova, they go against Mosaic and Tarantula. And
it's pronounced Mosaic.
Mosaic. That sounds way better.
What I said or you said?
What you said.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I thought this was a really fun little person match. This was amazing for little person wrestling as that goes. I think that this was entertaining.
You could call it the Mexican minis.
All right, the Mexican mini match.
That's what
you want to call it that?
Huh?
Well, we were playing by what, Mexican rules, Mexican tag rules.
Yeah, the Lucha Libre Libre rules. Yeah.
this
I
was
thought
a
it was a
lot
fun
of fun
match.
to me. I thought Max Mini was fucking. He was a star. They should have kept him around because at Royal Rumble when he's flirting with Sonny and shit, and it's like that little bastard had charisma. They could have done something with him. Maybe a Hornswoggle before Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it was just it was a really good match, and because a lot of these guys, like the mini wrestlers, have been around. And you and I actually had this conversation with a work chum,
That's true.
a few weeks ago because he's like, I didn't know, and he called it the word you're not supposed to hear. He's like, I didn't know that this was around. He goes, I didn't know this was a thing. I said, it's been around since the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it's always been a trash.
And I started showing him pictures of like some of the American, wrestlers that were, the mini wrestlers. And he's like, you've got to be kidding me. He's like this really is a thing. And it's like, yeah.
And some of them, like, it can get sideshowy. It can get like when Hulk Hogan was doing it. It's some sideshowy guy. But a lot of them are really good athletes.
Not Eric. Hogan was just doing
fucked
it.
up.
Yeah. Eric was one of the participants.
Eric wasn't in it. He was booking.
Hogan was just doing it just because he needed money to pay Linda fucking alimony.
Yeah. I really, but I enjoy. Imagine if Max Mini would have showed up for WLC. Because WLC was tremendous too.
Yeah.
There has been some good mini wrestling throughout the years. And I thought this was a good performance. What do you think, Eric? Did you have fun?
I thought it was a good match. I'm glad the four of them got some airtime.
Me too.
Yeah, and this was actually the first time we seen the minis on pay-per-view because of it. So they did a great job showcasing the skills. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't a big Max Mini fan because of how good he was. I don't know why. I just wasn't really a big Max Mini fan.
What?
I was more for like the mini Vader, the mini, the mini superstar.
I remember watching a match one time. It was on Raw. It was like spring of '97. It was mini Vader and mini Mankind versus Nova, I think, and mini Goldust. Like they had a mini Goldust.
I remember Mini Gold. I'm more of a Mini Boogeyman man myself.
So
Mini Boogie was awesome.
like just watching that match and then just seeing this little guy who, by the way, wasn't even necessarily that little. He was the tallest of all the minis. Like he had to be at least 4 foot. So I don't know, like if they just called him Mini Goldust just because he was, because Goldust is like 6'5". So they're like, all right, well, this guy's like 3'8", 3'9", maybe 4 foot.
What are you talking about?
Mini Goldust.
Oh, Mini Goldust.
And I remember watching it, and I'm
mini
like,
Goldust?
yes, there was a mini Vader, a mini Mankind, and a mini Goldust.
And a Mini Boogie later.
Yeah.
And a mini Doink the Clown.
Yeah, Dink.
Yeah, Dink was.
I remember Dink.
I like Dink.
I love Dink.
Damn it, we need more. El Snow was right. Little people equals big ratings. We need mini wrestling back.
Maybe Al Snow should have ran Micro Championship Wrestling.
Yeah,
There should
Probably
have been a
would've been
mini
better.
Al Snow.
I just remember when Hogan was doing that, and he was also fucking running TNA at the time, and he went on a radio show, and all he talked was the mini wrestling, and I'm sitting there like, TNA's fucked. AJ Styles needs to go to WWE right now. These guys are screwed. But I thought this, and Tarantula was a good heel in my eyes. I thought Tarantula did his shit well.
Yeah.
I disagree on them. I thought Max Mini was a highlight, and I think he kind of made the match. Because he had the underdog factor. He was like a little Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Like he was just so like, I don't know. There's something adorable about him. You want to see him win?
He's the smallest one
Yeah.
of the minis. He probably only clocks in at like 2'7". Like he's fucking like he makes the Smurfs look like the Big Show.
I want to hang out with him. I want to hang out with Max Mini. Like the guys that talked about going to the strip club with Vern Troyer. I would love to do that with Max Mini.
Yeah.
If he's still with us. I wonder if he's still around.
I don't think he passed.
I'll be right back, guys.
You're going to go find out?
He's gonna go call him.
Wow.
He also goes by Tezuki.
So,
49 years old, and he's 3'7".
Look at that. I got to screen share that. Clenneth, can you see our video?
I can see your video.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I can see your video, but nothing you're sharing.
Yeah, I'm not sharing it yet. I'm about to share it.
Sorry, I'm back.
You're good. I'm about to share the screen. I shouldn't get in trouble for showing Max Mini. Especially because he's this isn't a WWE photo.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
So Hunter can't come after us like he did with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
But we
Did you
know.
see that?
Yeah.
That's Max Mini now. His name's Tezuki.
Oh wow,
He's 49 years old. I think he's still working.
that's awesome.
I see
49?
here. And here I'm thinking that they're just kids. That's what I was thinking about. Yo, I literally, because I'm like, that's like, no way. They got many people, they got kids doing this stuff. I want to do this.
Clint thought they were just kids in their Halloween costumes working matches.
Well, they weren't doing the "Don't try this at home" yet.
Yeah, they wasn't doing that.
That's true. That was my childhood, and we ignored the fuck out of it.
Oh,
Yes.
did we ever?
Well, if you took us to like a bounce house or whatever, we're doing this stuff.
We had a trampoline. I mean, he wasn't really able to go on the trampoline because he was only like 2.
No,
But
I wrestled with my buddies in the backyard of the trailer park.
Yeah.
I got Styles class through plywood and shit when I was 10 years old.
yeah,
We were fucking hardcore, baby.
yeah. I remember like when we had a trampoline back when I was like 11, 12 years old, and my friends and I would wrestle on there, and then mom would be like, "You're not supposed to wrestle on the trampoline." And it's just like, we're fine. But then like became the rule where it's like only one person on the trampoline at a time, and it's like, then why am I having friends over?
I remember the name of one of our companies that we started was Backyard Death Entertainment. So technically, even though it does not mean the same thing anymore, I coined the term BDE. but that means a completely different thing now.
BDE.
BDE.
Big Dick Energy.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I wasn't thinking of that when I was 11, but
yeah. You didn't start claiming you had a big one until you were like 15, 16.
well, you gotta give yourself time. But yeah, the minis did great. I would
You had a big girlfriend around that time too.
hey. You needed the hardware. But
I'm done with you guys, yo.
I'm sorry, Clint. All right, we'll get back to
Hardware. You were dating a salad bowl.
All right, let's.
I don't think she's a fan of this show.
I don't think she had much salad either. All right, moving on.
Crispy chicken salad.
Max Mini, or no, the mini match. I would give it, if we're gonna rate it, I would give it I'd give it a 7.
I would almost say 8.
I would give it an 8.
I'll give it a 7.
Thank you, Eric. But I like it. It was entertaining. It was the opener that we needed because we started off with a slog. We started off with hearing about a guy dying and then fucking a slog of a match. So it was nice to be picked up by this, and it was like really entertaining. And it like,
And by the way, I don't think the minis can lift any of us. Maybe Eric, but that's
Hey,
you're tiny.
he's not that tiny.
don't underestimate me.
I'm not underestimating you. I'm just saying that little people can pick you up because you're not fat. You weigh 82 pounds.
Yeah,
135.
It's a compliment. You see how you're spinning this?
that's a compliment. I don't understand why you get so upset.
Clint is on his side.
Thanks, Doug.
What?
Yeah. All right.
Clint is backing me up. We know something's wrong.
No.
I'm just messing with you, Doug. I know you're just.
You have a great figure, Eric, and you're not tiny in a bad sense. You're a bundle of joy. But the mini, I would
Aw.
say it's a 7 out of 10. It's a very entertaining match, and it's something like I wouldn't say if you're not going to watch the show, don't like look this up on YouTube. But like if like this is a reason to watch the show. This is a good it's an entertaining match that made me like I'm kind of excited for the rest now. When at the previous match I'm like, yeah, shoot me in the fucking head.
It was only like 5 minutes, right?
About 6 or 7, I think.
Yeah.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's that. Now we move on to another match that I didn't think had much heat, but I do think that the guys tried a lot more than the opener, and that's the tag match for the WWF belts, and that's the Godwins, Henry O and Phineas, with Uncle Cletus going against the Headbangers, which was Vince's response to grunge.
Yeah.
Mosh and Thrasher, which they don't age well if you're not like a 90s kid.
Right.
Because you're like, what the hell is this? These guys are in skirts. But the
Not
head.
that there's anything wrong with that.
I will say, was it Masher or Thrash that started the match? Mosh
I
or
think it was
Thrash?
Mosh.
I have never seen a more disgusting thing in my fucking life than when this man, because Henry spit, and it was pretty cool. He spit and he smacked it, and it's like, oh, you got good coordination. That's cool. Then Mosh spits up in the air, catches it in his mouth, licks his lips, and swallows. And oh no, come on, you're being dramatic. Doug's puking on.
That was pretty nasty, yeah.
It was pretty disgusting, and that made me not want to watch the fucking match. I was like, dude, what are we doing here? He was like,
I had to do that for effect, okay?
I don't know, it felt real.
But it actually kind of was.
It was very gross, and
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. It didn't sound like the panel enjoyed it either.
Nope.
But the match that ensued, Clinton, what do you think of the match itself?
The match itself was boring. It wasn't that good to me. I didn't find it interesting. Like I said, the pay-per-view myself, I realized got better towards the end than it was towards the beginning. Like these couple of matches, you had to force yourself to watch, and this is one of them. I was a big Headbangers fan too. Don't get me wrong, I love the Headbangers. And I'm glad they won, but the match they could have been better.
The
Well, I mean, the
Headbangers didn't
Godwins
win.
won.
Oh yeah, well that's even worse.
There was a big botch at the end. Not a big botch, but there was a botch at the end.
Yeah, the pin with the power bomb or whatever.
Yeah. I thought the match was better than the opener, and that's not saying much. So
It was
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, they got a little more heat at the end when they were beating them up after.
yeah,
And then the referee's just like, if you don't get out of here, we're stripping you of the titles.
Yeah,
And
that
the
was more-
Godwins would lose the titles like the next week anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the beat up at the end more than the match.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
There was more heat.
Yeah, that's when the crowd finally got into it when it was kind of too late. So yeah, I give this a 4 out of 10. It was below average, but it's not like terrible.
I would definitely agree with a 4.
I'll give it a 3.5. Just to be slightly different.
I'll give it a 4.
All right. Next up,
Somebody
we
has
have
to be different.
Yeah, it's okay, Bob. Next up, we have a heel versus heel for the title, which is presented by Steve Austin, because we're really starting the Stone Cold train, and we're really starting the big push of him kind of going against Vince and Vince is like kind of starting to turn heel a little bit, even though he's still doing commentary. But Owen Hart, who infamously broke Austin's neck, and then he comes out in a shirt wearing Owen 316. Says I just broke your neck. He's going against Farouk. It's a heel versus heel match. It doesn't have much heat, but the two guys in the ring can work. So the work in between the ropes wasn't bad. It's just the fact that heel versus heel never works and the crowd always hates it. But
And then you have Austin in between.
yeah, and having Austin throw the belt in after him cheating for Owen, and then throwing the belt in like "fuck you," I'm gonna take it off of you. I like that. I thought that was a cool wrinkle.
Well, yeah, because he wanted to beat Owen for the title.
Yeah.
So that's how you know, he wanted to be the one to take the title from Owen.
Exactly. And he didn't get it. He got one of the biggest pops of the night too. Austin did.
Oh, of course. I mean, he was going to be their biggest star.
Yep.
Yeah, and you could tell.
Was this before the segment of the whole St. Louis?
I don't know. I didn't pay any attention to that.
What, the Hall of Famer thing?
Yeah.
It was a cool celebration, but the crowd was like an Attitude Era crowd that didn't give a fuck.
Right. And Kevin Dunn actually wanted to get rid of the segment.
Of course, because he has no care for history.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the past. It doesn't matter.
I thought it was pretty cool. I learned a little bit about it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It was a cool thing to put in there.
Yeah, I like the fact that they brought up both Terry Funk and Dory Funk.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that the brothers were there, and then Jack Briscoe, Harley Race, and then the other guys I didn't know.
Yeah, but I would give Owen and Farouk. I'd probably give that a 5.
Yeah, I would go 6 because it was good enough. The wrestling was good, even if the crowd didn't care. I thought the wrestling wasn't bad.
I have to agree with Doug.
I'll give it a 5 as well.
All right. Let's move on. We have the DOA, the biker gang, the Disciples of Apocalypse, the guys that Undertaker jumped to get his motorcycle. 8-Ball and Chains, the Harris brothers, one of the most useless fucking set of brothers in the history of wrestling, even worse than us. And Crush, who was kind of the leader of this deal, and Skull. And they were going against Los
Were they
Barricos.
heels? Were they the baby face?
DOA were the baby faces.
The biker gang were the good guys.
Okay.
Against Los Barriquas, Jesus Costello Jr., Jose Estrada Jr., Miguel Perez Jr., and the leader of that group, Savio Vega.
The first Savio Vega, not Savio Vega Jr.
No.
Oh,
This is the one I'm thinking of, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought one of them looked like Conan.
You know, one of them actually did. I think it was Estrada.
Yeah,
They were-
I thought for a second I was Conan.
This was their response to the NWO.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that good. This was the whole biker. This thing went on way too long, and then you get the nation involved. The whole gang warfare thing. I saw what they were trying to do, but they thought that could really help lead them into the Attitude Era, and it really didn't as much. And Crush didn't really become a bigger star from it. Farouk got outshined by The Rock, and fucking Savio Vega kind of just went down and down on the card. So it didn't really do anything for anybody. But it was fun seeing multiple groups of people beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
This match, though, I like seeing the DOA go over, but I don't know. It wasn't that special to me.
I mean, and this match had been on like the pay-per-views like 5 or 6 different times already this year.
Yeah.
We didn't need to see it again. I'm giving this match a 2.5.
Oh, are you?
I mean, the match was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was better than what we was watching beforehand. So, on that terms, I mean, I would give it a 5. But it was, to me, it started picking up after the Farouk Owen. It started to pick up to me. So I will actually give it a 5.
Okay.
I'm
You're
giving it a
supposed to
4.
rate it higher. You picked the damn show.
You know what? I told you why I picked the show. Why you gotta keep saying this?
I have to keep saying you picked the show because you picked the show.
Oh my god! Yes, America, I picked the show.
We'll make sure to remind people, Doug, when you got us watching a WCW pay-per-view from '92 that you picked it.
Well, yeah, somebody's got to take the blame.
But no, where were we? Where were we?
I give it a 4.
Yeah, the 4. All right, everybody gave the ratings, but me, I think I would agree with Clinton and go a 5 because I do think it was better than a lot of what we saw before. I would probably still put the minis over this, but I did enjoy it to an extent, and I thought as a tag match, out of all the other tag matches that was on this card, actually, no, tag match is better. But
I just thought it was weird that the Biker Gang was the baby faces. That was just weird to me.
well, it's WWE. The Puerto Ricans have to be the heel. The foreign, it's always just like they said in the Vince doc with the Russian heels and the Islam and all that.
That's why the Canadians were heels too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's why we literally have the fucking Patriot come out next match. But I thought I like Savio Vega. The rest of the guys were cannon fodder. And I like Crush, but the rest of the guys were cannon fodder. Like, can we just get Savio Vega? Yeah, that's it. Like, and we did get it a lot, but I don't know. It worked. I agree that it worked, but it wasn't. It's not the next 2 matches in my eyes.
Right.
So let's move on and let's talk about, to me, when the show's like, all right, this is, now we got the big stars out. Now we're doing something. Where the WWE champion Bret Hart and the British Bulldog go against the Patriot and Vader in a flag match. And this isn't just a flag match where you can just take the flag. You can also pin and submit the guy.
Yep.
I thought Vader and Patriot were a weird combination, but I thought this match was really good. Bret Hart is a consummate professional. I did think that the guys kind of got gassed because they made this thing go a while.
23 minutes, I think.
Okay. So, it just...
match in the card?
No, the longest match in the card was Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Okay.
1.5 hours. But Vader looked exhausted at a certain point. And even Davey was looking tired. And I will say, Del Wilkes, the Patriot, he did great stuff in Global. He did good stuff in Japan.
Yeah.
He did great stuff in other places. He is definitely the worst guy in the ring, and you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even close.
When he tried to put the sharpshooter on Bret, and it looked horrible.
Hey, he did it wrong.
Yeah. And then Vader tried the sharpshooter, and Vader was starting to put it on correctly.
Yeah, it looked better.
Yeah. And Vader wasn't able to transition it all the way because they had somebody interrupt. But when he's putting the sharpshooter on, Jim Ross is like, it must be sharpshooter night here in St. Louis.
Yeah, and I thought it worked. The whole Patriot Pro America thing, people didn't care in '97. It wasn't rah-rah Hulk Hogan, I'm a real American, like Dusty Rhodes and the American Dream. That shit was kind of over. We want the bad boy Steve Austin. We want
what the hell is with that?
We want him drinking beers and flipping people off. We don't give a shit about America anymore. And the Patriot kind of represents that because he didn't have much heat in this. I thought the crowd really popped for Vader. And there was a specific hot tag that Vader made to Patriot, and no one made a noise. And then 5 minutes after, or it might have been 5 minutes before, he makes a real hot tag to Vader, and the crowd goes fucking ballistic, and they love it. And Vader's this big, strong, who was presented as a heel earlier in the year. So, or the year before. So the fact that the crowd's really popping for this guy, but not the Patriot, you can tell that the Patriot really wasn't working.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. With Vader and Vader carrying the load. By the way, a 450-pound guy working 17 minutes of a 23-minute match. He had to have gone in the back and been like, "Who the fuck wrote this shit?"
Yeah, there was a certain point because there was a couple bumps he was taking where he was just walking, and Davey would throw him into some, and he would just walk after, and he's just I'm so fucking tired. I remember remember my days on like the football team and wrestling, of course. And like I just remember like, oh my god, I'm fucking dying. And that's what Vader felt like. Like it's just like this big, like he was menacing still, and he was badass, and he's putting his shit in. But he looked, and maybe he was just like doing the performance, but he looked gassed to me, and he looked like, oh my god, this thing needs to fucking end soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Brett can go for 3 hours. Brett can go for 3 days. He looked fine. Davey was even looking a little puffed up after a while.
I think Davey had a bad knee at the time.
Yeah.
It was towards the end of Davey Boy's career, right?
No, he's still got a couple more years. He still goes because doesn't he go to WCW and then come back?
Yeah.
He goes to
That's right,
WCW, breaks his back because the Ultimate Warrior needed a trap door for the ring, and he gets bumped on that and breaks his fucking back, fucks his back up for life. And then he comes back to WWE and they put him in jeans and have him as a tough guy for a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that. now,
Like 99. But this is the dawn. This is the end of Bret Hart because the main event, the Hell in a Cell, which I always forgot, was the main event of the Hell in a Cell. It's not for the WWE Championship. It's for a shot.
I thought that was for the WWE Championship too.
It's not. It's for a shot.
For a shot for the WWE Championship.
To wrestle Bret Hart in Montreal. So if Taker wins this, we don't get a screw job. If Taker wins this match, Bret Hart's a happy guy. And we don't get any of that shit.
You can blame Kane.
It's crazy to think, like, with all the debut of Kane, that like everything that the Hell in a Cell represents and the fact that it's still here to this day, it's also like Bret Hart's like last big pay-per-view thing before the screw job.
Yep.
And the main event is to wrestle him in Montreal. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm giving the flag match. I'm going to give it a 9.
It was a good match. It was really good, and I thought all guys performed. Like I said, I thought Patriot was a little behind everybody else, but all the other three, and Patriot still tried really hard, and I don't want to take too much away from them. But the other three were really doing their shit well. I give it an 8.
See, I'll give it an 8 too. I just wasn't a big fan of the ending. I really wish they would have, even though they added the whole pinfall, so you had that quick roll up. I think that was a cheap way of saying because we don't want nobody touching the other person's flag.
That's a great point. That's the best point. Why we're doing a flag match where we actually don't like it's like having a ladder match end by pinfall. Like what are we doing here? Why have a flag match?
What was the point of the flag match if you're not even going to capture?
Just so they could reach for it a couple times and grab them down. Like, come on. I agree completely. Yeah. That does take it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But the match itself was good. Yeah. What's up, Eric?
That's why I only give it an 8. Because what was the point of the flag match if it's just going to be a regular old match with a pinfall?
Yeah. It's like having a Hell in a Cell end in a DQ. No one would be stupid enough to do that, right?
Yeah, Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt.
Dude, the crowd started chanting AEW. That's how you know it got bad.
And they weren't even in, or no, they weren't in business. They were, right?
Yeah, they were. They were early, but they were running because there was a lot of excitement, and I think that's what also led to that.
Oh, speaking of AEW, we can briefly talk about that at the end.
Okay. What specifically? Just AEW? Oh, the deal. Yeah. We can.
The new deal.
Yeah, I'm done. Because that is a big deal. But
God, that means we have to keep doing the show a little longer.
It'll be all right. We'll still make SmackDown.
All right.
But main event time. Did you give your rating? Oh yeah, you give it an 8, Eric. Main event time. Clinton, I'll let you start. Hell in a Cell. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker.
So we all know the Hell in a Cell was a way to keep these guys in the ring for what happened at Ground Zero. Because that match never got started. It was a wild brawl throughout the whole match and ended no way. No way out. Just a chaotic brawl for like a half hour or what? However long. that main event Ground Zero was supposed to be. So you put them inside Hell in a Cell. Keep Triple H out, China, DX. You give Taker his one-on-one that he wants so bad in revenge for what happened and Shawn Michaels did to him, cost him the title at SummerSlam 4. And yes, Shawn Michaels the arrogant. And to tell you the truth, at this time, I was a big Shawn Michaels fan, so I didn't really care. I love the arrogance. But watching now, I'm like, yeah, I can see where everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, I could see it
But-
too.
But when you're younger and you just started watch wrestling, I'm like, this man is like the bomb.
Yeah.
Yep,
And then
exactly.
he reiterated, and then he iterates. It's like, this will let you guys know, my title is not on the line tonight. I might go to the wrong, but my European title is not on the line.
That was good.
Yep, that was great. I was like, I can see why Doug hates him.
And I also love that Triple H went to talk and they cut him the fuck off. Too.
Oh, that was glorious.
Triple H was ready to go full promo, and they're like, "Nope."
Yeah,
In,
That guy
in
got
that moment, I could see why Doug hates him.
Well,
He was a good heel. You're supposed to hate.
Yeah, I
him.
know.
yeah.
he was a good heel, and remember, he got the European title because he wrestled Davey at that one night only,
Yes.
which was just a couple weeks before, and Davey originally, because he dedicated the match to his sister and all that, he was going to go over because it was, London Arena or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It was in London. Shawn Michaels pitched a fucking fit because word had gotten out because Sunny can't keep her mouth or her vagina shut. Sunny let Shawn know, oh, hey, just so you know, Bulldog gave me a good fucking. So,
You think she said it like that?
if she had
She
a
gave me a good fucking.
if she got a sex change, yeah. Which who knows if she did in prison or not? She might have nowadays, but
Sonny's got to be the worst aged wrestler.
yeah. So fucking so Shawn finds out that Bulldog gave Sonny a good fucking, and right, dude.
And then what happened?
And then he went to Vince and he's like, I'm going over in London or I'm not going. And Vince is like, whatever. Like, fine, let's just, because we're promoting this fucking thing. So whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Because Vince didn't know how to say no back then. He knows how to say no now, especially when the fans ask for stuff. Fucking dipshit.
What he did.
Yeah, he gone. Just like Clint. I'm done.
He can't. Clint could. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, we're talking shit now, huh? And he's back.
Yeah.
But
Clint couldn't handle me saying that Sonny went to Vince and said Shawn gave me.
That's when I got kicked off. That's so I was having problems with the report. I'm like, oh, okay. Got kicking me off.
Sonny's controlling the broadcast. Yeah, this match, my take on this match as a whole is it might be one of the most successful wrestling matches of all time. Because I think that it did like 10 different things that it was trying to do in one match. And I don't know if that's ever been done before in one match, like 30-minute time span. You made Shawn Michaels into a badass. He was a pussy. He was the sexy boy, fucking sexy boy. He was a little fucking heartthrob. No one took him seriously. You gave him some edge. And they were trying to give him edge. They showed it with the video package with him hitting Undertaker with the chair and stuff. They were trying to make him into a hard ass a bit. That succeeded. By the end of that match, you think that the sexy boy's a tough guy. I was like, hell yeah, Shawn, at the end of the match. So you succeeded on that front. You successfully debuted Kane in an incredible way, and it works. Undertaker still looked great. You cemented a match type, a gimmick match that you can use for the next 30 years, and they do. Like the list of things that this match does right, it's just like, how can it be anything else than a 10 out of 10? And the action in between the ropes is amazing. Undertaker and Shawn had fucking awesome chemistry, and it showed.
Yeah, but all right, you say that Michael Smith. I mean, at the beginning, towards the middle, yes, but towards the end, Michaels was straight like a rag doll. That dude was a bloody mess who just fell into a cover after Kane tombstone the Undertaker. He couldn't do anything towards the end of the match.
You're right. I agree. But did you not at the end with the bloody face and everything? Did you not go, "Wow, Shawn's kind of badass"? Did you not respect him a little
Yeah.
bit after at
Well,
least?
yeah, I respect him. I was just happy he won the match. I was
Yeah.
still.
I
But
agree, but to me, I left that and I was like, "Oh my god, he like Shawn like that
like if
was
I watch it
badass."
now, I will say these things. But at the
Yeah.
time, I'm just happy you won. Even though you're getting carried, he probably didn't even know he won. Look at his face; he was just like bloodied up. Triple H is holding his hand in the air, and and they're carrying him to the back. While the Undertaker is just looking there like, "How did I lose?"
What the fuck just happened? I was kicking this guy's ass. my
How did I
dead
lose?
brother came back. What? What the hell just happened?
It was weird to see Rick Rude too.
Part of DX, yeah, that is always weird. But then the fucking asshole leaves, so
Yeah.
he didn't belong in DX anyway. So I mean,
Not really.
I get it because he was like the heartthrob in the early days and shit. But they had China all you until Shawn leaves and you get.
think China was a heartthrob?
Eventually, she became a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But especially when she did the facial reconstruction surgery, and I thought that really, yeah, she was a beautiful woman. But I don't agree with Howard Stern making fun of her back in the day as much as he did. But I will say, well, what was I saying? Yeah, you lost me.
Yeah.
But I really liked the match. Shawn was a rag doll at the end, and he looked dead. He was hurting. But at the end I was like, he made it. He survived. He survived the war. He only did it because this big red fucking dude came out of nowhere. And Vince McMahon's commentary was never for me. I never loved it. But an iconic quote, "That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane." I thought that was a good call on his part.
Yeah. I thought Vince was good on commentary in this pay-per-view.
I forgot how much I liked the dynamic because I always just remember liking JR and King. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
That's what I love is just JR and King. But it was fun with a super heel King and a super babyface JR and those two arguing and then Vince in the middle like, all right. And the match, like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Hell in a Cell was epic. It's a 10-star match. I'm giving it a 10.
Yeah, this is a 10-star.
Yeah, it definitely is 10. When they did the bumps like on the top of the cage, and you started to think that the cage was going to start to cave in.
Yeah.
And then Shawn's just hanging off the side, and Undertaker just steps on both his hands.
And then
he falls.
And then Mick fucking peeks his head through the curtain. He's like, "Don't steal my shit yet." I got that planned in a year.
I'm gonna do that in a year.
Don't fuck me over.
I'm doing it on June 28th.
But I really did enjoy, and it's crazy how it tells you so much about the two men in this match that we're all given this 10 stars, and it's not even the best match that either of these guys have had with each other.
Yeah.
Nope.
They've had better matches, not only separate, but with each other. And this is a 10-star match. That tells you the talent that's in this main event.
Yeah.
And that would happen like 10 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah. And they do it twice.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 years in a row, which is what makes it twice.
Underrated, one of the best feuds in history, honestly. The casket match was good, too. Like, everything they did together always worked.
Yeah, but the casket match was the one that I think ruined this Michael's career after that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
what it did.
yeah, you're right. It did fuck it back up for life. You're right.
Yeah.
And he went away for what, 5 years?
4 years.
So, yeah, I mean, and the whole thing with Kane and Paul Bear waddling out there and
how ironic is it that the casket match is ruined, and that's the least like remembered match of all his matches with Undertaker.
Yeah. Well, because people try not to remember it because of what happened.
What happened?
Yeah. Yeah, you
And
guys are
Los
right.
Barriquas interfered. So
Oh yeah, that
they
too. Well, wasn't every fucking heel in the fucking building helping Sean?
no, they tried to recreate the Yokozuna Undertaker match
Yeah.
by having all these guys interfere, but the only ones they could get to because Yokozuna had all the big heels at the time: Head Shrinkers, Crush,
Yeah.
Bam Bam, Jeff Jarrett, Adam Bomb, Tenryu and Kabuki.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Yeah, all the big names. Diesel came out, right? And like had all these guys come out and interfere, and Shawn and Undertaker do it 4 years later, and you had the Outlaws and Los Barriquas.
Yeah. Well, the Outlaws ended up drawing some money.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
The Barriquas couldn't, even if they were locked in a room with green crayons.
so that was Hell in a Cell. We all give it 10 out of 10. The Kane, this is mostly remembered for the Kane thing. I don't want to gloss over that because this is the debut of a character that lasts 30 years and that ends up being an incredible hand in the business and like one of the most consistent workers and characters ever. And
Yep.
this is the debut of that. Glenn Jacobs, Kane. He's not a dentist anymore.
Or a fake Diesel.
Or a fake Diesel. Yeah, they were really fucking him before this.
Yeah.
But they finally got it right, and thank God. And it worked. It really worked.
Yes, it did.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Final thoughts.
I got a big head.
Well, that's a great final thought. Final thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole and give it a rating. Eric, you go first.
I thought the pay-per-view. I thought this was mainly probably a match and a half pay-per-view.
Okay.
I would give it probably a 7.5 out of 10. But I did enjoy the last like 3 matches.
Clenneth, what do you got?
All right. Well, I'll give this pay-per-view basically an 8 out of 10. Hell in a Cell, the flag match, awesome matches. The eight-man the tag team match, and the openers and the bottom of the card needs lots of work. But if you like go and if you watch this pay-per-view, I will tell you just to watch the last 2 matches because you will be disappointed in everything else beforehand.
Yeah. Did you say show rating?
Yeah, he said 8.
Oh.
8. Okay. And my final thoughts aren't too different from Clemens and Eric's. I would. It's not a match and a half card. It's a 2-match card. The flag match is really good, but the Hell in a Cell is enough to watch this. But you are going to be wanting to skip forward, and that does bring this down. And I would give it an 8 as well because it's an iconic show with an iconic match on it, and some other good stuff. The minis and the flag match. But there was a lot dragging it down. So I can't go too high. An 8 might even be too high. But the fact that we're doing Bad Blood tomorrow with Hell in a Cell shows you how much this worked. So I got it rated pretty high, an 8 out of 10. All right, Doug, you wanted to do this. Give your final thoughts on the rating.
I wanted to do it.
I was fucking with you because you kept saying.
Well, you know whose side you're on. So fucking
This guy.
Yeah.
That guy. I'm technically next to you. I am on your side.
Well, that is true. I can prove it also earlier at work. But so I do agree, even though 2 out of my 3 co-hosts are boobs. I do agree with what everybody's saying. Yes, this is a 2-match card, but I did enjoy the minis match. Everything else was just kind of blah. Although I do like the Godwins and the Headbangers, I just wish it was a better finish.
Yeah.
So, but to me, the last 2 matches alone do make this an 8.5. So that's what I would give it. And I would say, like, look, you are going to want to, if you want to watch the first ever Hell in a Cell, you turn on the show. I would fast forward up to the flag match because that was a very well worked match.
Yeah.
Vader, God rest his soul, might disagree with that because he might think I did all the fucking work in that thing. But it was a very good match. Hell in a Cell was very good, and the Kane debut, obviously iconic. So yeah, I would give it an 8.5.
All right. That was Bad Blood in Your House, 97. Real quick before we go, we are heading out very soon. Eric, you did bring up, because when WWE signed the big Netflix deal, $6 billion, it was a huge news, it was public news, and it was a big deal. Well, AEW has a TV deal of their own, baby, and they're still on TNT and TBS for the next 5 years, I believe. And starting in 2025, they will be streaming on HBO Max, or not even HBO, just Max. They'll be streaming on Max, which I would say is probably number 2 in streaming services. I know it's a big competitor for Netflix. So I'm sure they didn't get $6 million for it. Tony might have paid them, but they're on Max, and that is a big deal. The people that don't have cable, that don't watch AEW and TNT, they can watch AEW now, and they can watch it on Max. I don't know if it's pay-per-views. I don't know if it's past libraries. I don't know if it's the TV. I don't know.
Heard they're going to have library.
But I love.
Are you still going to make you pay for the pay-per-view? That's the question. They weren't talking about. They're saying the pay-per-view is going to be discounted on Max.
It's going to be a discounted tier price, I think.
I think it's going to be similar to the network, but not that price, but similar where they have the former Dynamites and pay-per-views. So you don't have to go back.
But at the network, the pay-per-views are free. You're just paying for the network.
Yeah.
They're talking about you still have to pay for the pay-per-view.
So it's like ESPN Plus, basically. Where you have to pay for the UFC pay-per-views.
Which I don't think Max has ever done before, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to work, and I hope they have their own hub and they're treated with respect. I hope it's not just like one category and under entertainment. It's like AEW.
Yeah, I hope they do have the library, so we can do some old pay-per-views.
You're gonna have AEW next to like fucking American Housewife or something.
But
I like to go back and watch some old pay-per-view.
We will, and we'll review them too. I of course, especially from the early days. I would love to go back and watch some AEW. So that's the deal. SmackDown's gonna be on soon, gentlemen. This was Bad Blood. We had a great time. All right, boys. We'll see everybody next.
All right.
Later.
Make sure to check out When Tunes Combine tomorrow. The first installment of my Toon City universe. Eric and I are going to be on, and it's the name of the movie is called Don't Run Away, and it's going to feature characters such as Scooby-Doo, Slimer from the Ghostbusters, Foghorn Leghorn, characters from Doug, Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons. Daffy Duck has a little bit of a cameo in it. Eric's got a character in it.
Which one is it?
So you can't give spoilers.
It's you.
But I will say he's been writing this thing for like a month. I've been next to him. He's worked really hard on it. This is a must-watch episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be tuning in, so I recommend it. And then we got the Stadcast on Sunday and the Bro Down on Monday. And next week, what do we know what we're doing for the wrestling show? Are we going back to spinning the wheel?
The wheel.
Did Clinicians just say yeah?
Yeah.
I said the wheel. Where did the wheel come from? I never hear about the wheel.
You were on the first wheel up.
Oh, that way.
The Lethal Lottery. But
are you going to be on this week, Clint?
Nah, I'm working this week.
Okay.
But the following week, yes.
Okay.
Well, maybe we'll save the wheel then. Let's do next week. You, me, and Eric are gonna give our top 10 underrated heels of all time.
Underrated heels.
Yep,
right.
underrated bad
Hmm.
guys.
Okay.
So we'll see everybody next week and have a good time.
All right.
Bye,
Later.
boys.
Deuces.
Enjoy your weekend.